through which trending political news, events, and stories are discussed with stakeholders. Through these conversations, ATN uses political talks about specific issues, party system, and actor to explore hope and engender positive impact to the society. Today on Open Conversation, we'll look at the stories. First, Osun State. Court orders arrest of ex-INEC Yakubu. And on certificate forgery, ADC falls presidency over handling of Naji scandal. On party politics, PDP security team seeks unity for peaceful convention. On National Assembly, Akpabio, Moro clash over rising Senate defections. And on 2027, my politics is not for the high and mighty, Obi says. And on insecurity, U.S. lawmakers urges Trump to sanction Nigeria. We'll go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll delve right into the show. Do not go away.
There are two sets of people. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need is not about the country. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. Joining me on Open Conversation this morning is Chizzy, your Maslai political analyst and a regular on Open Conversation. Good morning, Chizzy, and welcome.
Good morning.
You look good today, Chizzy.
Yeah, I'm only looking Nigerian.
You're only looking Nigerian. Interesting one. All right, and on to the story. Federal High Court, sitting in Osogbo, Osun State, has ordered the arrest and imprisonment of former chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, for contempt of court. Justice Adefumilola Demi Ajayi ruled that Yakubu disobeyed the February 2025 judgment directing INEC to release the national officers of the Action Alliance led by Honorable Adekunle Rufai Omoaje on his website. The Action Alliance and its state chairman had sued INEC and Yakubu under suit number FHC/0S/CCS/194/2024 for unlawfully removing their executives from the Commission's portal. The plaintiffs urged the court to enforce compliance with its earlier decision, describing the National Electoral Body's non-compliance as a clear act of contempt that caused financial and reputational damage to the party and its officers. In her ruling, Justice Demi Ajayi directed the Inspector General of Police to arrest and charge both INEC and Yakubu within 7 days for contempt and committal proceedings. The court also awarded a cost of 100,000 naira against the defendants in favor of the plaintiffs. Yakubu had stepped down as INEC chairman on Tuesday, with Mrs. May Abamuche Mbu now serving as acting chairman. What do you make of the story?
Well, you know, the suit is not against Yakubu as a person. He was only acting as chairman of the INEC. And of course, so it was about the INEC. So it's about the office other than the person. Because you know that government is a continuum. So if the suit has anything to do, it will remove. Even though it has named the man, of course, that person that he named was just named because he was occupying that seat as at that time. He's acting for INEC, whatever be the decision. I think it is now the incumbent acting chairman to inherit, because of course he will inherit the responsibility. Is
she the one to go to prison?
That's what we're going to be talking about. It is because somebody has been named. If they have said INEC chairman should go to prison, now it is.
The respondent was Mahmoud Yakubu and INEC.
Now
Mahmoud Yakubu as INEC chairman and INEC. And as at the time the judgment was given, Mahmoud Yakubu was the chairman.
And as at that then, the arrests have not been affected. See, there are things you can. He did not act as an individual. Let's get to how the procedure. I understand the court has made this ruling. I'm sure that INEC could also have gone for appeal, but you know the court cannot imprison or lock up somebody because you acted, not because what you acted is in gross of your office. No, you acted in line with what you have seen around your office. So if they have not enlisted them, and then they've asked them to either enlist, and because they have not done that, they should arrest the INEC. So entire INEC should go to prison, and Yakubu should go to prison. That's what it means. Look at it. INEC entirely. INEC is a body. That means that entire INEC from the 700.
Who implements the decision of the court?
The executive, the police.
No, the judgment of the court
with
regards to INEC.
It is INEC.
Who is the head of INEC at the time?
INEC chairman.
So if INEC chairman does not give order for that website to be updated, will it be updated?
Now, let me tell you, the INEC chairman cannot on himself give order.
Who does?
What I mean is that he has the signature, you know, of course, but it is a decision of the commission itself to release. Of course, you know that INEC has department. It is a decision. It's not like the INEC chairman can stand up like this and just begin to give order.
You recall that in the case of River State issue, when the issue of by-elections came up, INEC came and took its position that its position is that as a law-abiding institution, that there are litigations in courts and they will not, you know, act in sub judice. So that pending when these litigations are handled, that INEC, you know, conduct by-elections. That was the position of INEC. Now, also, in the case of Abure, INEC did recognize Abure on the ground of court judgments. The same INEC, if you go to INEC website to look at list of political parties, when any political party you click on, you will see list of the ESCOs there. In the case of Labour Party, I don't know if they've updated it now, but if you check Labour Party on the INEC portal, it will show you Abure by court order. So which means INEC works in line with the judgment of the courts and court order. Why is it in the case of Action Alliance, it was not implemented?
No,
It's INEC implementing selectively.
No. I have not said that INEC does not implement court orders. It is INEC that does that. But I also tell you that in implementing those orders, there are procedures. All I have just said is INEC would have faulted by not implementing the court order. But to reduce it on Yakubu, Yakubu as a person. Now you can't fault INEC. You can't say because Yakubu is not a sole administrator. Yakubu is not a commission. Yakubu is heading a commission. And so which means that, of course, he's head of the commission and he takes the responsibility of everything happened in the commission. Right now, he has resigned. And I said, okay, maybe May will go to prison as chairman of the INEC. Because even now, Yakubu does not have so assuming without conceding now that you take Yakubu and now sentence him to prison like they have said, and INEC continue to do what they are doing, what have you done?
There was a judgment when Yakubu was the chairman of INEC.
When was the judgment given?
And that judgment, it was given in February.
February, that's what I'm saying now. That between February and now, they have gone to court again to ask that the court has made this pronouncement. I don't fault the court's judgment. I will not fault the court judgment, of course. But what I'm just saying now that we have a very complicated issue now at hand. The complicated one at hand now is that before the implementation of that judgment, Yakubu has resigned. Before the police, since the police couldn't arrest them, it's no longer INEC now, it is the police now who should arrest them. Isn't it? Before the police could have carried out the arrest, that Yakubu is gone. Now, who person are they going to do? You can't go and arrest Yakubu as a person. Yakubu is no longer an INEC boss. He's not even a member of the INEC committee. He's like any other citizen. He can contest.
The question is not who Yakubu is right now. The court is looking at who Yakubu was at the time the judgment was given, right? And who was responsible for implementing that judgment at the time?
INEC.
Who is heading the INEC?
Yakubu.
Very well, you have answered the question. So you cannot say May it's going to take responsibility for the actions or inactions of another person when that person was in office.
Now the question I want to ask is, right now, assuming that they also say that May shouldn't implement that thing.
That's not the question. The question
no,
is
because
not,
May has inherited.
The question is not whether May will implement the decision or not. The question, the point is, who at the time
even this May was in charge of the legal. You know that May was also in charge of the legal department. In the matter of respondents, May is not mentioned. Yes, because it is Yakubu that was mentioned. Because Yakubu is acting for all of them.
All right, that is why.
Sure.
Uneasy where lies the head that wears the crown.
Now May is wearing the crown now.
Well, May is wearing the crown. Last time I checked, if the matter is brought up, that suit is brought up, it is not the name of May. As at the time judgment was given, it wasn't May, it was Yakubu. So the court is looking at the matter, the prayer before it, and the judgment of which it gave, the prayer that made it give judgment, and who were the respondents in that matter. So that is what it is. Don't forget that this is not a Supreme Court judgment. Of course, it can be appealed. So it can be appealed. But the question I asked earlier, was that INEC, have ever seen INEC go appeal on judgments with regards to political parties? To appeal on behalf of the political party. That's the thing. Now, in this instance, INEC has, projected itself as an institution that obeys court judgments and court orders. And I've also cited examples where INEC, stood, behind or stood where the court stood. And in this instance, INEC is found not to be standing where the court is standing. And I'm wondering, is it selective? Was it selective? Does INEC practice selective implementation? I'm not speaking for INEC. I'm not speaking for INEC. I can't speak for INEC. Assuming any party in that suit had gone to appeal, INEC will wait for that, for the court, for the judgment to be exhausted at the highest court. That's number one. Now, INEC that has right of appeal. Why do they have a right of appeal? Because you have so named, you have asked that somebody be in prison. And so that person can go to appeal to say, why am I being in prison? It's because of this or that we didn't do that. Implement. So it's not like they are appealing the judgment as in But now he's going to appeal to save himself from going to prison.
Who?
Yakubu.
No, Yakubu is no longer there. There's no Yakubu in that case now. There's no Yakubu in that case.
What the suit says Yakubu.
Yakubu, because he was chairman. Yakubu there as chairman is not Yakubu now.
At the time, that's not the point. At the time the judgment was given, whose actions?
It is not. It is the chairman's action. Yakubu being the chairman. It is not Yakubu's action as a private person.
You have Yakubu being the chairman. And last time I checked, in Nigeria, people have gone to prison after they left office for the things they did while in office, correct?
They did, not the commission doing.
While in office, correct?
Yes, sure.
That answers it. So, moving forward, the African Democratic Congress has criticized the presidency for treating former Minister Uche Nnaji's resignation as a private affair rather than a matter of public trust. The party said President Bola Tinubu's response to the controversy surrounding Nnaji's academic credentials undermines public confidence in the government's commitment to transparency and accountability. In a statement by its National Publicity Secretary, Bolaji Abdullahi, the ADC faulted the presidency for accepting Naji's resignation without conducting a thorough investigation into the alleged forgery of his academic and NYSC certificates. It argued that allowing the former minister to quietly exit office reflects poorly on the administration's anti-corruption stance. The opposition party warned that the government's approach sends a dangerous message to young Nigerians about integrity in leadership. It urged President Tinubu to set a higher ethical standard for public officers to restore faith in governance and demonstrate that honesty and accountability remain core values of public service. What is your take on this?
I see what I have seen in this country. In fact, thank God it's ADC that is talking. Of course, the last plane that crashed was ADC, so I know that this party is crashing again. I don't understand what they want the president to do. Now, if you want to go through due process, if you don't go through due process, they will say, no, you are becoming too autocratic, you are taking laws into your hand. If you don't want a due process, does accepting resignation stop prosecution? No, it does not. In fact, people and said, this man is like this. I said, okay, if this is the suspicion, go and answer your case. Get out of my office. Of course, the man came and I accepted it. Now, so that you cannot act as an individual. I'm now the court or the law can deal with you, including the federal government dealing with you. And the man has said, okay, I accept you. Now leave. Could you have allowed him as minister? Why this is going on? I think that it's a case of if you go like this, they say, no, he has done this. There is something in my adage. They said, when you don't have anything to say against a fine girl, you just say, go and take water and take your bed. That a man, because of this controversy, has accepted a resignation because somebody resigned because it's found out that maybe one thing or the other, which looks like a little bit of acceptance of what they have accused you. And the man resigned. And they have accepted this resignation. So you can be dealt with as an individual, not as a government. You will no longer use the government influence to influence one or two things. He said, no, that's not good. What you would have done is don't resign. Please, just be minister. Just be minister. And be using government influence to prosecute your matter. So where are we? That's the question we need to ask. Where are we? Are we saying that President Tinubu, this is the first time I'm even seeing, few of them that has resigned as a result of controversy. And naturally, what Nigerians will do is to stay put. To stay put until what the man resigned. And let me tell you,
the members of ADC that is saying this some of them any of them had controversy of any sort while in office? Remained in office.
A lot.
Which of them?
Who do I mention and who don't I mention? What about even Senator Mark? He was minister. Hopefully you know that Senator Mark was minister for communication. It was Senator Mark that told us that phone wasn't for the masses. That phone was for elite class. It was Senator Mark that told all of us that. Have we forgotten that? That he said this phone that we're all using today, that his children and everybody, his friends, his aides are using today, that was not for Nigerians, it was for few elites. What happened to him? All of this controversial abandoned property that we're talking about in the rivers, who's proposing it now? What getting all of that? So how come all of those controversies will come? Do you know also that some ministers were accused of doing some loan that were not consistent with law with China, and they were still there? Nobody said anything about that. Today somebody's been accused of something that even the court has not said otherwise. And then the man has put his resignation. And the language of resignation, maybe you don't know. Sometimes resignation is willingly. Sometimes resignation is the principal will say, please resign. Because of it. That means that sometimes in these two scenarios, most 80% of the period is because you know that the principal, that integrity level will not let him enter you having that controversy. People should understand that. And so if you can resign, how many of them resign? They don't resign. Those controversies will be there and everything they will resign. But this one, just said, okay, I'm going to resign. I think they should, in fact, if there is anything, they should applaud the president for even accepting that. What will you do to the president? Keep him there, and the man is attending to what's it called, public issues, and then he's attending to his personality, using public government influence to infiltrate into institutions. Are they also happy that an institution, a university in Nigeria under the president can boldly write that? Can that happen in their regime? All of these people, we know their background, so we understand what they are saying. We know. It's like, oh, if you resign, no. You know, if the president says, okay, now this man has done this, let me lock you. They'll say, oh, then I say allow. Don't forget that you are not guilty until you are proven guilty by a competent law in Nigeria. So he could have been there until such a time where he's proven guilty by the court. If the president's integrity was not at stake. So they would have said, my friend, please, resignation. Because if the president also sacked him as a result of this, without a court naming him as the president also faulted. So if he may have been advised, I'm not saying that's what happened, or him on himself or his evolution, but all of that has to do with the body language. Where that's all it takes. So if the president was saying, we'll forget this, what can they do? He won't resign. Not that the Senate has called for his resignation. All of that. And now you are saying this person that you brought in, that this is what happened, this and that and that and that and that. As a result of that, this thing, people are going to court and then the man resigned. That means that, oh, if I knew you hadn't this, I wouldn't have appointed you in the first instance. So since there is a controversy in it, don't come and defend yourself and all of that. Go back and become cheesy. Go and defend yourself. Say, no, that's not correct.
Right. We'll go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll continue. Do not go away. Well, I can thank you for staying with us. People's Democratic Party Security and Intelligence Subcommittee 2025 National Convention has called for unity among members to ensure a peaceful and successful event. The subcommittee's vice chairman, retired Colonel Austin Akobundo, made the appeal during his inaugural meeting in Abuja, pledging the team's full commitment to maintaining order and transparency throughout the process. Akobundo, a former PDP National Organizing Secretary, said the team would work closely with security agencies to guarantee a seamless convention. He described the assignment as familiar terrain, adding that his team was determined to provide a conducive environment for delegates and leaders while upholding the party's democratic values. Deputy Chairman of the National Convention Organizing Committee, Tanimu Turaki, commended the subcommittee members for their expertise and urged them to make the 2025 convention a model for other political parties. He emphasized that 85% of the convention's success will depend on effective security arrangements and assured the team of full institutional support. Chizi, what do you make of this story?
Well, it's a good thing. I will congratulate them, for that. That's a meeting of a subcommittee on security. Colonel Austin Akobundo is a man I'm familiar with. He was in Rivers State. See, the security of a convention is also majorly on the attitude of the delegates. Now, the entire, it's not just, it's a system thing. How the entire other committees will work together to make sure there's a free. You wouldn't say there's security when you are compromising the integrity of the electoral process itself. If you do that, of course, the security will be done. It's for all of them to work together to. We need opposition in this country, so I wish them well.
Do you see PDP with all the has been going on? Do you see PDP successfully holding a national convention?
Yes, let me get into this. It's been my thought, I have not seen any other position like PDP as a person. I do not think you see, PDP is more organized. That's the only party that has maintained a brand from 1999 to date. So you should be sure of what I'm talking about. PDP is a home thing. PDP is like a traditional thing. So I don't see anything. Of course, in every convention, there are people who will agree with what they're going to do, and there are people who will not agree. In fact, some FILACs, some governors are also going to, part of PDP, probably before even the convention. That's also going to compromise certain thing. Of course, it's going to affect.
It will change the dynamics.
It's changed the dynamics. But why big fishes are leaving, there are other smaller fishes who wanted to lay their hair. They will come up now before you know it. But one thing I can tell you is that PDP is more organized than the ADC. For the ADC is not the party, so I know that.
Why do you say PDP is more organized than the ADC?
PDP is rooted. You see, like I've told you, for instance, you can still see that what has happened in Rivers State and all of that. You can still see PDP members. In fact, in most of these wards, to vote for a party, they think that if they have to vote for a ruling party, it's PDP. That's what is there. That brand is there. So every other, apart from APC, brand cannot wear PDP. Whether you like it or yes. So you will see what is happening. If the governors that are defected from PDP to ADC, for instance, they are to APC. So it's not because even they know that ADC is not an option. For them, you will see new people. I traveled after recently. One or two places. I knew that PDP is not like we're thinking. There are people who are traditional PDP members who they know that the governors quote unquote big boys quote unquote covering them, and so right now for this opportunity to rise, and I think they can come up well after Bola Tinubu presidency. The PDP will take or something, not APC.
All right, very well. Senate President Godswill Akpabio and Minority Leader Abamoro clashed on Wednesday over the continuous defection of opposition lawmakers to the ruling All Progressive Congress. The disagreement erupted after Senator Kelvin Chukwu, Enugu East, announced his defection from the Labour Party, citing lack of internal democracy and cohesion within his former party. Reacting to the defection, Akpabio mocked the opposition, saying he was unbothered by their dwindling numbers and urging them to reorganize their parties. He said, if they like, let them all move here. Your decision to leave a tattered house is accepted. Adding that all political parties were facing internal crisis. In response, Senator Moro reminded Akpabio that he remains Senate President for all Nigerians, regardless of party lines. He expressed concern over the rising number of defections and the shrinking opposition in the chamber, while wishing Chukwu well, noting that he was elected through the obedient movement. He called the sympathy vote, actually.
Yes, sir.
Chizzy, what is your take on that?
Yes, let me take key dimension. If you read the lines of it looks to me, political view into it means that he's saying, if why not stay there and amend it? That's what he's saying.
How so?
Because he said that all the parties are tattered also. That's what he said.
They are all in crisis.
They're in crisis. And so
but that his decision to leave a tattered house is accepted.
What will he do? He will accept it, but he's saying that
because it's favoring him.
Of course, yes. That all of them, they all have crises. Why not build on your own? You know, like I said, the Abamoro responded. For me, if I was Abamoro, I would just wish the guy well and just see that. What am I going to use this thing for? Because you've not seen people defect from. Because
their numbers are dwindling by the day.
This is that's correct.
So he should cry out. Their numbers are dwindling by the day. What do you expect him to do?
He also told him that the guy was voted on sympathy basis. That
the chamber sympathy vote. He wants to sympathy.
You know what that means? But of course, it didn't matter.
You couldn't have won election. He's in the National Assembly.
Whether he like sympathy vote or and not, now he's going to a party wants to play, get a candidate.
The man is understanding that if he won through sympathy vote, it means that this that gave me sympathy vote is no longer solid.
Yeah.
And now looking at Obi himself, Obi is unsure. It's not clear if Obi is still going to run with Liberty. So probably this man wants to make hay while the sun. So it's just his political calculations.
Political, and so you need to read around your local realities and take decision, of course. But that again, he couldn't have stood himself to win it. If I came on sympathy for quote unquote, and became a senator, now my performance will give me vote based on
the
myself.
Organic vote.
Would that give me the organic vote? My performance. So right now it means that, because I have told people that in politics, that campaign is a continual thing. You can before you became the candidate of the party, then you became the candidate of the campaign to election. Election, your performance with the election is also campaign. So if you had stayed in Senate without doing anything and just relaxing there, it means that you can no longer, in fact, right, it is no longer somebody should vote him. It is his own sympathy that should, if he was performing. So each time you begin to run to a place like that, that is the office of the Senate. There's something, a lacuna that we need to feel that you have not done well. Representing your people well. I've not heard it. In fact, I'm sorry, maybe I may not have been listening, but I'm hearing about him today just because of this defection. If not, I've not heard about him.
It's not a name that is
It's not a name that I know. I didn't even know. So that means that there's something that he's not doing rightly. See, Larissa, let's get it right. You see, the local reality is the only you can win an election. There is no constituency like the federal. Like the president does not have a place where they vote the president. You go back to the unit, isn't it? And all of that. But just after these people have been elected, they leave that same to come back to seeking the vote. If you go, I can tell you, look at the pressure Obi made. Look at the impact Obi made in those periods. Right now, that even as a senator, you elected me. There was somebody, I don't want to mention his name so that it don't look like I'm criticizing somebody. There was somebody who was elected, somehow into the assembly. And in his election, I saw the election budget was far higher than his first election budget. So I said, why is the election budget now, the election, 4 times bigger than the years another year? And I said, no, it means you failed. If your budget before you came was 1 million, after you had worked for 4 years, your budget is 15 million, you failed. He said, I said, what I mean is that my budget right now is 100,000. Because it is you that will be seeking my re-election, not me seeking that I be re-elected. What you have done. And I tell you, if there's anything Bola Tinubu did, is every unit has certain level of independence to act. And be frank with you, it has done the state. It does. If you crisis, even when we were ushered until court named, Tinubu was still giving university their money. Their money, irrespective of what. When they elected chairman, some of us were kind of not. He kept giving them their money. Seize it. Or have we forgotten so soon? He will seize that amount and frustrate. No. He kept doing this. So for them, they do not have excuse. They do not. I can work for the president if I want to work for president. Be a member and win the election. President, I will vote for you. For this, I have to support it. And again, when men like that leave the party, the level like party, I don't care. But at a certain level, a stakeholder, even as senior of the Federal League, have the from your party, you are the leader of the party in the state. So which means it looks like you don't even have organizational skill, you don't even have leadership skill to be able to call your people together. You are a leader. In fact, there is no way the national leadership meeting of Labour Party without the senator. Because you've grown. Because you don't have a president, you don't have your own place. So you must know how to take charge. All of this will took charge. Bola Ahmed, president today, has left AD or ACN. There wouldn't have been APC today. It was at a time the APC or ACN had only one governor in Nigeria, and that was him. He stood, took other governors. That's why you see that BC Akade, who was fellow governors, are now acting like they are his boys. Because he brought them together as governor and started doing what he was doing. In that your little way, show you can do something. And when people will be screening, in fact, the people might come and say, okay, please, I will go to this party, you want to vote this party or not. Will vote you. There are places where people will vote you over and over. It doesn't matter, it is you. Nigeria has gone past, it is you. So to go and beg other parties, it means that it was actually a sympathy. Without that person, you can't win the election. So you needed a higher to be able to win the election again.
Right, very well. And then to international politics. United Nations Congressman Riley M. Moore has urged President Donald Trump to designate Nigeria as a country of particular concern over what he described as the systematic persecution and killing of Christians. In a letter dated October 6, 2025, and addressed to Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Moore called for the suspension of arms sale to Nigeria until the government demonstrates genuine commitment to ending religiously motivated violence. Citing reports from Open Doors and humanitarian groups, Moore claimed that over 7,000 Christians have been killed in Nigeria in 2025 alone, while 19,100 churches have been destroyed since 2009. He accused terrorist groups such as Boko Haram and ISIS West Africa of orchestrating the attacks and alleged that corrupt cells within the Nigerian government may be complicit in the violence. The lawmaker also condemned anti-blasphemy laws and closure of Christian orphanages in some northern states, describing the situation as a genocide against Christians. He urged the Trump administration to reinstate the CPC designation, first introduced under Trump but revoked by President Biden in 2021, and to use diplomatic pressure to ensure the protection of religious freedom in Nigeria. Chizi, what do you make of this development?
You know, I'm going to come under attack, but I'm going to see the truth. The truth is, it's only the truth that will set us free. First, it is our fourth country. It is our fourth country that's another legislative house against us. You know, that is saying, oh, sell arms to Nigeria. Can they sell arms to China? Do China have any business dealing with them, on arms? That's because we have refused to develop our own technology. That's because we have refused to sell something. But this is about Nigerian government 1960 to today. That's the problem. That's why a country will stand up and say, no, it's me saying, okay, this the other family that's independent of themselves, because of what is happening in that family, I'm not going to them. If I have comparative advantage, I can't say that. If you have to win to kill who? Don't forget, Boko Haram itself is, that civilization against Western, isn't it? Isn't it? It's because, yes, of course, it's by Islamic group that formed it. I once said to people, I am not, how do I say it, manipulated into accepting this Christian Islam faith. Yeah. Manipulated into it because I knew that when I was in the Northern States, the early 2000s, it was everybody was coming to Port Harcourt. It was like, oh, you will die. Why? Because of the militants, and the militants were all Christians. If Christianity is about name, first, if Christianity is about being against, they are frustrated. They go to church because our definition of Christianity in those who go to church, and then the definition of Islamism, the Muslim, is about those who can go to mosque or those who answers Muhammad. When you see, if they have said, do this to Nigeria because they are committing genocide, they are killing Nigerians out of okay. But for me,
don't make it religious.
Don't make it religious. Issue. Don't come and divide Nigeria on religious issues we are already divided on. Don't make it on us.
But the thing here is that one would say when it comes to killings, North, is it necessarily about religion? Because when these suicide bombers strike, it's usually in the affected Christians are affected. And the killings when they enter villages to kill, raid, it's mixed religion.
That's what I'm saying.
So how were they able to separate? Let's say, for example, Yewata massacre.
Yeah.
How we are in Benue State able to separate the Christians from the Yewata massacre, a religious-based killing, right? Or is that a narrative that they want to sell out there?
That's what I'm saying. Who was the first cleric killed by Boko Haram? Was Aris was it this is a cleric call them. You have
Imam.
It was an imam, a scholar, Aris affrontly, preaching against them. That was the person they went to win. It's not when people about both Christians. Yeah, let me tell you, sometimes it affects the Christian more because you see, for instance, I just come and do his prayer in 2 minutes and he's gone, right? Without you knowing. But the Christians will be here in mass and then create, you know, an awareness that people are there. And of course, in that issue, as
one would differ because the Muslims have time for their prayers. For prayers. How many times have you heard mosques were raided? But in terms of killings, some killings in religious-based killings actually, where churches were massacred. In some cases, people did not make it out alive. In children, have there been religious killings in the north? The question is yes. They have, and there is to that effect. But the way I'm at is generally killings and security in Nigeria as religious-based would question that because our religion, religious killings are still going on. Insecurity that goes beyond religion.
Yes, I agree with you. You know, when you say, like I said earlier on, if they had come to talk about the killings in Nigeria without raising that sensitivity issue of religion, what you want to Nigerian government to, I mean, by dividing us. Do you understand? Even though somehow sentiment, but us the more, and it looks like they want to help us. Interest in where states, they have interest in our mining. I can all of those is where those Boko Haram hides out and all of that. How NGOs from China, NGO from US, NGO all of this,
and nothing is happening.
And nothing is happening to them. How
the villages surrounding
the villages
nothing
is happening to them because are illegally mining.
The miners stay in there. How come? These are questions that Nigeria.
How come they? So what they want to do is to divide us more, to make us more porous, so that we begin to enter again.
They have access.
They have access, but they don't have us assets. Now, see, let me tell you something. If you weaken me, for instance, if you begin to talk to Christians now, there are Christians, you'll be shocked. You know, I thought that if you go to certain places of the north, if you go to the north, you will see in zones. Everywhere in the north. So as soon as you raise that sentiment again, and it looks like a country like US is supporting this Christian thing, you begin to see us fight ourselves and balkanize us no more. They don't want us as a country. They want us to be weakened more. That's why you see that those NGOs fly in there. Remember ammunition, Jonathan. All those people, those who are giving them, those Boko Haram who are giving them ammunition. They are the ones giving them. It is the West that them. Where those ammunitions? They are not us now. If we cannot produce our ammunition first, that our and you are telling them not to give us ammunition, and those the ISIS.
The question will be, how do this ammunition the borders? Even if they entered border, they landed in the ports. How were they cleared? How were they distributed in Nigerian space? That should be the question.
Let me tell you.
So, is there a cabal? No,
they have. You cannot remove persons in Nigeria out of this thing. No, you can't, including the mile happening in and all of that. You can't remove Nigerians. You can't remove in every. But I'm telling you, are the ones, because we don't produce arms now. The ones who are giving arms to. You know, normally, a country is not supposed to sell arms to us. How are these people getting those arms that they do have? It's still because they want to mine. I am not saying that we should relax. We are not doing well as a country. We have not done, not all of us. especially that obviously coming out. Boko actually started in 1981 or 82 when Shagari fought. It wasn't Boko Haram, it was name. Then in 2002, little by little, I started building before and inherited. Today it's like this. It's becoming an issue. And so what has made it this period they have been miling? The community, the border. Yes, these NGOs will like what are fighting a war between casualties. Now talk about an insurgent. Die. You won't record one of them die.
That's the suspicion.
You record one of them.
What is going on?
What is not is that they are one orchestrating this thing the same way they issue.
Orchestrated in Niger Delta.
The militancy in Niger.
Saying that the militancy in Niger Delta was masterminded by the West. They said the militancy in Niger Delta was as a result of the organization of Niger Delta.
Let me tell you, I have the book and said they don't like civilization, education, Western education, isn't
it's
it?
haram domination.
Isn't it? You will all have a local. You will have a local message to sell. Have you noticed that it was to change their headquarters from Rivers to the west, to the southwest? And operation didn't stop. Development stopped. Sure. Those explorations didn't stop. There was any record of a time where they were not drilling offshore. They know what they were doing. And you look amount of ammunition that this has, that is before you imagine where. Don't forget the waterways is thing that can be manipulated.
It's very
porous. And that's what they brought all of them. Our carted and road find mining now in northeast. They just anywhere you any mineral resource interest to them, you see crisis.
Now the question with this coming up, don't you think now give political will to find security?
It should give. I don't think
I really should.
it should give.
But you don't get will.
I don't know. It should give. We advise that this is a time to come back and use our local way of fighting. This is what our mission doing in the first instance. Fighting, is it war?
They will tell guerrilla.
It's guerrilla warfare, yes. And in guerrilla warfare, intelligence more. First is to have the morale, of the people to fight, the commitment to fight, the commit. If we have the commitment, if Nigerian government do have the fight Boko Haram, it will go. People are compromised, whether we like it or not. Compromised it because people are making gains out of it. Making a lot of gains. This thing we are all crying. People are making Muslims or Christians, they are making a lot of gain in it. That's the problem we're having. Because if not for that, okay, look at it. In the Niger Delta, in the Niger Delta then, while we were in Abuja, military officers lobbied to go and secure Niger Delta. I don't understand how. That is officers in Niger Delta secure the Niger Delta. The question is, why are you lobbying? It's so why would the same person be lobbying Niger Delta? It means that they know
there is something there.
There is something. You could be here, hearing guns. One feed those guns. How many times have we heard them shot and kill us in the sea? It's a problem. So we the narrative. We must ask. Any of this is enough. And again, we should stop this being West and work at our own. And I can tell you that even the West is without us.
Very well. Thank you so much, Chief. It's
welcome.
a pleasure having you to the Open Conversation. And thank you so much, our viewers, for always staying connected to us. And this is where we wrap it up on this episode of Open Conversation. I'm Laurentia Ugu. Transition News comes up next. Do not go away.
Give us access to our money.